One of the hills that I am firmly going to die on is that YouTube is the last frontier to build your personal brand. And in this video, I want to walk through why I believe that's the case with a lot of examples. And I've been in YouTube for 11 years now, which is kind of crazy to say. And I've seen it evolve a ton from 2015 until today in 2026. So I want to kind of distill and try to sell you on why that's the case and why I believe that no matter what type of business or creator you are, you should be focused on YouTube as the hub of your brand and everything else is feeding into it. So I'll go into why in the first place, like why in the hell YouTube? So every single platform on earth, and this is obvious, is fighting for your attention at a breakneck, ridiculous pace. So you've got Reels, TikTok, ads, tweets, LinkedIn posts. It doesn't matter what the hell it is. They're great at getting you to stop the scroll. They're a great pattern interrupting content. They're amazing at discoverability. They're fantastic at like just sucking you into random stuff. And a lot of it's stuff you didn't even think you would enjoy, want to watch, or even remotely be interested in. And that is the blessing and the curse of most short form social media algorithms, is that's how they behave. There's a problem with it though. None of them ever built a brand that people actually trust. Sure, you trust people that you watch shorts on your phone, obviously, but it's not the same depth. And I always kind of give this analogy here. It's like, there's no massive multi 8 and 9 figure media companies that only run on Instagram. They use Instagram, but there's multiple, dozens and hundreds of YouTube channel based businesses that are 8 and 9 figure media businesses that sell, whether it's publishing, so information, coaching, services, whatever, or media, so advertising, merch, their own products, events, whatever. That only exists as YouTube as the hub. Not that they don't use these things, but YouTube is the hub. And I'll get into some more examples and some proof as to why, but this is the one that has it all. Like, this is the one that has long form, it has short form, has brand building, can build a full business on one platform, and can be the hub for your business now and into the future. And one thing that I like to say around AI is that AI is having a tough time cracking YouTube. Like, you'll see funky like Reels and TikToks that are like a AI really well done video that's kind of like a dupe or like a political thing or some kind of like interesting piece of content that is very outside of the YouTube zeitgeist and the YouTube culture. And those things are likely not going to make their way in the same pace and capacity as they are on Instagram and TikTok. So that's my quick little pitch on YouTube. Now I want to get into more specifics of the problems here of what we have going on. So most business owners and creators are investing in platforms that weren't built for trust. They were built to sell you more ads. That's it. Like Instagram and all these platforms, just use Instagram as an example. It is built to suck you in, to sell you more ads, they can sell more ad space, and they keep you locked around the platform. That's it. Super simple. Short form gets you seen. It doesn't get someone to give you $10,000 over the call. It doesn't even get someone to be remotely thinking about giving you $10,000. In some cases, it does. Obviously, Instagram makes sales all like I run ads on Meta. It's a great place to run ads. Great place to get leads, but it doesn't build trust. It doesn't build a long-term brand. That's what we're talking about here. I said building your personal brand. I didn't say getting direct leads. I didn't say running ads. I said building your personal brand. That is where YouTube differs. And that is where you're able to build this longing trust that can last 5, 10, 15 years that doesn't happen in the same way on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or any short-form platform. The problem is people are confusing attention with authority, but in reality, they're not the same thing at all. If you have tons of attention and you've got thousands of likes, hundreds of comments, millions of views, whatever, that's attention. That's great. Every business needs attention. The problem is that authority doesn't equal attention. I have a ton of authority in this space, specifically for YouTube, helping coaches, consultants, different product businesses grow. I've made millions of dollars doing this. I've done this for a super long time. I'm an authority here. I know this really, really well. Full stop. I'm not getting the most attention in this space. I'm not getting the most views. I'm not getting the most leads, whatever. But we're making a lot more money than a lot of our competition because I have a lot of authority. I have a lot of expertise. And YouTube is a place where you can showcase that. And it doesn't matter what niche you're in. I don't care if it's fitness. I don't care if it's business. I don't care if it could be lifestyle content. There's an infinite number of niches, and YouTube needs to be the hub for all of those niches. Yet you use short form as to feed it, but the main thing is authority is always built in a long form fashion. So let me explain long form. Like, what is like a definition of long form? This might be helpful. I view long form as anything that is uninterrupted thoughts for, call it 5 to any type of minute. So it could be 50, 60, 2 hours, 3 hours, doesn't really matter. But there's something that changes when you sit down to document and record. Short form social is filmed on the phone. A lot of it's like selfie style recording, just you to the camera, clearing your thoughts like a yapping video or something of that nature. This video here is clearly thought out. There's preparation doc. We're here for, I don't know how long it's going to be, maybe 10 to 30 minutes. I'm not even sure yet. And video is specifically designed to teach a certain thing, talk about a certain thing, and document a certain thing. This is not to get attention. This is not to get a laugh. This is not to get a rise. This is just me. I like teaching, talking, explaining, chewing on big ideas. This is the platform to do it, and this is the way to do it, which is uniquely different than every other short form platform, where this type of video, if it was an Instagram reel, this would be too long, but it'd be very strange to watch a video like this on your phone for 25 minutes. That'd be kind of a weird way to consume it. Again, attention wouldn't get attention, but builds massive authority. So that's what I want to kind of drill in here for a second. The way authority is built in a nutshell, and I'll give an example to really tie it home, is time on brand. And we talk a lot about this with our clients, is like time on brand is what moves the needle. If you don't create time on brand, you don't get people to trust you and they won't buy from you. So there's multiple ways to create time on brand. One way that a lot of people do now is like, well, if I do 10 reels a day, there's a chance they see 10 pieces of content. Okay. Well, those reels are probably going to be 30 seconds. So you let's say you spent 5 minutes with them. Cool. If you did one video a day or one video a week, that was 30 minutes. They'd have to watch those videos 5 times over, and they're not going to do that. When you understand that and you're really clear on that the time on brand, the time that someone spends with you directly contributes to whether they become a client or a customer of yours for whatever your business is one of the single biggest things you're ever going to uncover and discover, is that. We need to shortcut that and make this something that happens consistently week in and week out. All right, next I want to talk about the historical arc. So every area's had its version of long-form trust. Let's talk about movies for a second. It's kind of like tie this point home. Think Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Christian Bale, McConaughey, all those guys. They built raving fans through fictional characters in 2+ hour movies. Think about that for a second. Like, just let that sink in. That is like a bizarre way to think about it. They literally built personal brands off of playing fictional characters in movies. So that means that they are getting paid directly and built their brand directly off of someone else's story that they wrote about. So audience will literally spend hours with them, and that investment created trust translated into decades of a career. That's the movie example. Now I want to talk about radio and talk shows. Howard Stern, Dave Ramsey, even Joe Rogan goes into this bucket too. Dave Ramsey, they do $300+ million a year as a media business, saying the same thing over and over and over again. But the difference is he spends I think it's like 3 to 5 hours on the radio every single day. Howard Stern, most people that are probably under the age of 50 I've never listened to the guy, like it's properly a show. Dude making 8 figures a year from SiriusXM because he's on there every single day for hours on end. Time on brand. Movies, time on brand. 2, 3, 4 hours per movie, times 1 or 2 a year, times decades, time on brand. YouTube, Casey Neistat did a daily vlog for, I think he did it for a few years. I don't know how many years. It was a while. This was like in 2012 to 20, or maybe like 2015 to 2018. And he built one of the largest personal brands through vlogging. And again, every single day, 10 to 20 minutes a day, time on brand. Mr. Beast did these incredibly long videos, creating this epic brand by doing like clipping channels, was doing different languages, was doing a video every single week that was like a mega production. These were things that people would do once a year. He was doing once a week. Insane. Again, time on brand. They built because the brand, it was compounding on YouTube, not fading. This pattern is like very consistent. If you build a long form structure to your content, you have more time on brand with your audience and your prospects so that you build that trust. These, I want to give examples of trust that were mostly media entertainment based, because it's no different if you're selling a service or any kind of coaching or consulting. It's literally the same thing. The difference is the mechanism. The mechanism of which they were delivering their end product was entertainment or slight education. Your case is likely mostly education and maybe some entertainment. Cool. The main thing that I want to illustrate here is that people are used to consuming things in a long form context, and they want to spend time with the brand they enjoy watching. Simple. You can be that for your ideal viewer profile, no matter what that is. Let's talk about why I actually believe it's the last frontier. So I mentioned in the beginning of the video, but I want to kind of like double click on it. YouTube is the only platform left where the algorithm serves what people are already interested in. Think about that. The YouTube algorithm works really simply, and I'll do other videos on this in the future, but like the key thing to understand is that the algorithm is showing you other related videos and channels that you're already interested in. That means it already knows your interests, and it's going to feed you other interests that are very similar to that. And that could be in the niche of the videos, the content of the video, the structure of the video, the thumbnail of the video, lots of other factors that go into that. But that is really the structure of how the algorithm works. Every other feed shows you what the platform thinks will keep you on it. YouTube wants to keep you on it for an interest level. Other ones want to just keep you scrolling just a couple more swipes so they send you a couple more ads. YouTube, yes, it's an ad platform, but it also functions in a way where it wants you to be satisfied, not trying to get a next lottery hit. It wants you to watch a full video. It wants you to watch 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes with one creator, not just keep going till the next roulette hit. Different engagement. I want to talk about something called the Lindy effect. The Lindy effect is a cool thing that is like, it's pretty obvious. It's basically just like what's been around for a while will likely be around for a while longer. Now, there's more detail to it than that, but that's in a nutshell what it is. In this case, YouTube's been around for over 20 years, generated $60 billion in revenue last year, on this pacing this year to do more again in 26. 2.7 billion monthly active users, and the average person spends almost an hour a day on it. So this platform is not going anywhere. This is the most stable platform in existence. So it got bought by Google in 2006 and has been getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. And they keep investing more money into it, and it keeps becoming the juggernaut of all. It's like the world's video library. That is not what Instagram is. Instagram is kind of the dumping ground of like engagement and like the social interaction component of the internet. That is not what YouTube is. It's completely opposite. YouTube is the modern TV. So think of like YouTubers are like basically TV channels. That is now these different types of channels, whether you want to watch an entertainment channel, education channel, travel videos, skit videos, stunt videos, prank videos, whatever. That is how YouTube behaves like a TV channel. Instagram accounts behave very differently. YouTube channels also behave very differently from those because they're more the modern day TV. You're able to broadcast your brand in a very permanent way that you cannot do on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or any other short form platform because it's not designed to do that. YouTube is designed to be the hub, literally the hub of your brand, and everything else feeds into it. Reels, TikToks, LinkedIn posts, tweets, Substacks, email, whatever. Everything feeds into the hub of your brand that can keep outlasting all these other platforms. If you look at every major YouTuber or brand on YouTube, or everyone who's built it from going back to, let's even call it 2012 or to 15 until now, they have Threads. They've had, there was like Periscope for a while. There was Snapchat even had a moment where it's getting bigger it's still big now, but it's bigger in different ways. And I think a lot of these other platforms have always kind of come and gone, and some have stuck. Like Instagram is stuck, LinkedIn is stuck, TikTok is stuck. But the reality is they all feed back in to their YouTube channels for the most part in terms of what is the meat of their brand. What are they known for? What do they teach? What are their values? What do they stand for? Like, what are they actually known for in the world? That's always stems back to YouTube. And I'm going to talk about this later in the video because it's so important, but that's the main thing. And I want to mention this here for a lot of people. It's like ad costs only go up. Like Meta CPMs rise every single year. I've never not seen them go up in every niche. I don't care if it's CPG to consulting to local home services. Like the ad costs just keep fucking going up and they're not going to stop. So the only way to protect your business is having a brand. Like the brand, your own personal brand on YouTube is what can lower those CPMs as time goes on, not increase them. So you can get more throughput for the same amount of money when you have a brand. When you don't have a brand, you're going to be infinitely climbing this ladder of how do I spend more to get the same output at the end? And it's never a fun place to play. Never a fun game to play. So let's look at some proof here. So I'm going to post some channels I've actually got here. So I'm going to go with some brands across YouTube, and like some of these are going to be media companies, some of these are going to be information companies, and kind of a hybrid here. So So Iman Gadzhi. So he started in, I think he started publishing YouTube. I gotta pull it here. Publishing, let's see. He started publishing videos in 10 years ago. So he kept all of these up for a reason. So you can kind of see the journey. So it's just like literally a 16-year-old bodybuilder day in the life. So like he was doing a vlog. These have lots of views now because people have gone back and watched them. But these are literally just, this is like 10 years ago. He's been documenting everything. And the key thing here is like, he has been documenting everything for 10 years. He's pivoted obviously from that to now, like, it seems like a lot of AI, like digital product type stuff. And over the years, he's done stuff about, personal development, personal growth, lifestyle stuff, make money, like all over the place. And he's run tons of ads. They do short form content. They do reels. They do everything. But this has always been the hub for the business. Has been the main driver of their business. He's been able to literally build a multi 8-figure business off of this, doing well into the high 8 figures of profit for his information product business, and has led to investing in WAP and tons of other opportunities, not because of Instagram, because of YouTube. Yes, everything fed it, but YouTube was the core. Next, let's go back here. So Mike Israetel. The channel is called Renaissance Periodization. So tons of views, probably a 9-figure enterprise value for their actual product, their digital product. Maybe 8. It seems like it has a lot of users, but maybe it's had a dip. But either way, this thing is massive. They're getting millions and millions, probably like 30 plus million views a month on this channel. And the videos, again, are just like very much his personal brand. Yes, it's his brand. He's in all the videos. And it's literally like a personal, like the videos are not overly done. A lot of them are just the format that he really enjoys the most. And he's been able to just like build this solid brand for their business. Yes, they run tons of ads. They do short form. They do Instagram. They have affiliates. They do everything. But this is the brand. Hormozi, obvious one. One thing I want to point out with him, though, is interesting is like, obviously he's like all over everything on the internet. Like he's done every reel it is. He's the omnipresent man. Cool. What people don't realize, though, is that the lives are where the magic happened. Because I show this here. His lives are responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars of sales. This leads launch right here. This was the first time he did it. This has 1 million views on a book launch right here. Didn't do anything until the next, and then he did the Money Models launch here, which was $100 million. He did 3, basically, call it almost 2 million views here, a little under. And this was how he was able to launch it up. They drove everything around. They did, what else did they do? They did ads, affiliates, tons of short form promotion, everything. But they hosted it on YouTube. So this was the hub of the brand, and this was the main crux of the brand. And he's been able to build 4.4 million subscribers, thousands of videos, crazy audience here. And this is what allowed him to actually scale the rest of his content around YouTube. Next, we'll go to, I'll just go to Mark Manson. So he's been around forever. He's been an author for, I think, probably 15 years now, probably, maybe a little less. And he has been at the top of his game and only getting bigger as time goes on. And he started doing it through a newsletter, through writing, and he's been able to now, because he saw where this was going, make YouTube the hub for his entire brand. YouTube is where he publishes 1 to 2 times per week. It kind of varies as time goes on. And this is literally the hub for things that he does in terms of like a podcast presentation, talking head style, whatever the case is. This is his hub. This is where he lives now. Now, he still does everything. He still writes books. He still does tweets. He still goes on podcasts. He does everything. But the point I want to illustrate here is that he is still treating this as his brand builder. This is where everyone will come to in a year or two. This will be maybe 20 to 30% bigger. It's going to keep on growing, keep getting engagement, and he's always going to have this as an asset for his entire brand, no matter what he has in the future. And then one more I want to touch in is Huberman. So Huberman is a little bit different example in terms of, I want to show this one because it's like how you can just dominate a really small niche. This 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago, this was like obscure to be like maximum optimization, science-based health stuff was like, wait, you're going to get 7.6 million people interested in this and make tens of millions of dollars and have every single person interested or know who you are. Pretty wild. This only happened because he was building his brand and focused on building a YouTube channel as the hub. Yes, he does everything. He podcasts, but it's mostly a visual podcast. A lot of he's showing studies on the screen and all kinds of stuff. This is so key to understand that YouTube is really the crux of his entire brand. And this is what's allowed to become the most trusted space in the competitive and also in time scrutinized health industry. All right, now I want to talk about the hub and spoke model. I've talked about it a bunch. I won't belabor this too much, but really it's like YouTube is the hub, everything else that's around it. So examples like Instagram goes to YouTube, email, you have a YouTube video, email it, become a client. You have a TikTok video, leads to a YouTube video, into a paid community or free community, boom, revenue in the door. LinkedIn post can promote a YouTube video, go back to your long form YouTube content, building a lot deeper trust. Could be an offer over a DM, sales call, whatever the case is. This is the hub. This is where your deepest content lives, your most authoritative content lives. This shows your processes, how you actually work with clients and what you do. And then you really have everything be structured around there. The strategy is YouTube, and everything else goes around. I know I've said this little fucking loop so many times. It's so key. If you understand how to make a long form video, making shorts is easy. If you want to make a 30-second reel, I've made 40 in this video. So you can just basically, like these concepts, I can just chunk these out into shorts really easily. These become ads really easily. What doesn't is when you're stuck making only the shorts and you have no core content, you have no longer form content, you have nothing to showcase why you're an expert in any way, shape, or form. And that's what this hub and spoke model really fixes it. And I try to get our clients like to be deeply invested in this because this is what moves the needle. When you focus on YouTube as the top, the waterfall is easy. Everything flows down if you have this at the top. Clear. Opportunity is now. So why is it more now than ever? Because right now there is still a low supply on YouTube, which may seem shocking. Is like the amount of people that are consuming content is growing, but the people that are actually making high quality content, like value, and again, high quality is not production, like valuable to consume content is low as hell. You may think it's a lot, but if you compare it to other platforms, Meta, the ads on those, short form stuff, it is way less because the bar to make content, people think, is significantly higher. The bar is not higher, by the way. You just have to have more value. Value gets sussed out way easier on YouTube than it does on Instagram or any other short form platform. This is a significant change to how you view content, how you structure your entire business, because you need to be thinking of like, how can I showcase the absolute best of the best stuff that I do, the best of the best stuff that I teach, and just pretty much everything about your actual business that's valuable. This is the place to showcase it and hold nothing back. Zero. So key thing here is I have another video I'll be doing. This is like a supply and demand video. And just, if you're watching this now, you probably can watch it on the channel. Is like when the supply is low and the demand is high, that's the window. Like this, that is the crux of YouTube. You go for high demand, low supply environments. And that's where all the views, all the trust, and all the money lies is in those pockets, in that specific pocket. I don't know when it's going to close. I actually don't know. Like it could just keep opening because as more people wanting to learn and more people trying to find specific, unique information or mentorship or guidance or authority or whatever, there's probably going to be infinite pockets always opening up. There's always a next wave. There's always another niche. There's always the next big thing. The difference is that you want to make sure that you're really focused on building out a structure, and this is what we help clients with, building out a structure that is repeatable and you know how to pivot if need be. You know how to pivot around like, hey, I need to make different content or I need to find more low supply, high demand content or ideas or topics or whatever. That is the game you need to constantly be playing because this is the cheesiest thing ever. The best time to start is today. Like the best time to start content was yesterday. The next best time is right now. So urgency is key here. So I want to recap kind of this video here and kind of land the plane on this one. But honestly, every area has like had its long form trust platform. Movies, I've talked about the movies. I've talked about radio shows. We've talked all like that's also key. YouTube is the one algorithm that favors a creator serving your content to people who are already interested in what you do, and it compounds that authority. You don't have to play trending games on YouTube to win. That is why personally I enjoy it. You can make stuff that's valuable and tell stories, and it's not only reliant on you playing games and doing certain types of content that are done on Instagram. Totally different game. That's why I like YouTube a lot. Well, I like it a bit more in general. I like it a lot more for building authority. Every person you can think of has a personal brand. And let's think of it in the service space, author, like expert space. So that could be authors, whatever. Think of it like those worlds, coaching space as well. That are like in 8-9 figures. All of their brands have been built on YouTube. Now they also have everything else but that's where their brand lives. That's their home. Don't forget that. And if you're a business owner, coach, creator who's not fully committed to YouTube yet, the window is there, but you got to be focused on this low supply, high demand. I'm going to say it a bunch, but like you need low supply, high demand ideas. And that is the key thing to understand. Like that is how you build a brand that people trust and will trust for a very long time. So the brand you build here is insulate your business from rising ad costs, turn search into high ticket clients, and creates leverage that no paid ads channel can replace. This is where YouTube is our bread and butter. This is what I enjoy the most because we're able to really build trust, reduce other marketing costs, have less friction within our funnel, and get better clients and better client results because we're getting the right people through this single channel. So that's a lot here. That's kind of my take on why I believe YouTube is the last frontier. And I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next.